Last week, we talked about a lot of the mistakes that we commonly see, Paige and I, during our monthly co coaching calls for her students in Square Secrets Business and Square Secrets. This week, I want to talk about the kinds of mistakes you can easily fix on your website with little to no effort, and also address the fear behind why you're afraid to make these decisions. Before I dive into that, though, if we haven't met yet, my name is Caitlin. I run Launch the Damn Thing. I am a Squarespace educator and a web designer and a print and graphic designer. I've been in the industry for like 17 years now, a long time. So I have lots of tips to share. And because I'm such a Squarespace enthusiast, I'm actually going to show you these tips in Squarespace today. Let's hop into my account. There are three main types of ways that you can make live changes to your website, depending on how nervous you are about people seeing your changes. The first of which is obviously to create some sort of landing page, cover page that kind of covers the site. That's why they call it that. Basically hiding everything else, not allowing them to use any navigation until those other areas are completed and ready for public viewing. So this is the kind of method where there's usually like one thing. There's not a long scroll page. It's usually like a photo, maybe a sign up for a wait list so you know when it's live again, but there's no header, no footer, no buttons maybe. So it's a very simplistic way to kind of block access to the whole site while you build out the rest of it or make major edits. The one downside to this is that basically if you are putting that up while you're making live changes to the rest of your site and you tweak site styles, that will affect the live cover page as well. So if you change your color palette, your fonts, those things, it'll show and reflect in the cover page. If you don't care about that, then, that's a great way to do it. So this is a template website that I have built in the past, and I'm going to use it in today's tutorial. Notice we have a new menu here. This is Squarespace's static, they're calling it, navigation. Under your website link, if you go all the way to the bottom, you now have utilities area that is also going to house your system pages. If you click on your system pages, you will also have a lock screen. This is a very limited styling area, but it will allow you to show this particular page, however you do style it, in lieu of the website if you password protect it. So in this case, this is a template site, which I do want people to be able to view the demo for. So I put the password right here. But if you wanted to change this layout, for example, you can click change layout, pick a new layout. I believe this is one of the ones that has more styling options than some of the others. So pick one, add your branding. You can upload your logo or just put it in text. You can choose the headline, the body copy, or choose to display the lock icon in addition to that. You can change out the media if you want by selecting something in your asset library or uploading something new, whether it's an image, a video, or nothing at all, and it just displays a color. Under the style options, like I said, very limited, and it's going to feel very similar to the old 7.0 format. So for you newbies and you've only ever known 7.1, this will feel maybe a little bit strange, but don't worry because there's not a whole lot to look at. So this is not the type of page that will do an action other than allow someone to enter their password. So if you're wanting a cover page that says, this is what we're doing, like this page is, or this website is under construction, here's how to contact me or sign up for the waitlist and we'll tell you when it's live, this is not the thing for that. This is literally just a lock screen. To trigger this, you have to make any of your website pages password protected. To do that, you could, for example, click on the gear wheel for any page in particular, scroll down until you see the password section, and literally just give it a password and click save. That's it. That's only per page though. So if you want to assign a password for the entire website, even though it's already published, the easiest way, because the menu is all screwed up and I don't know where anything is, if you click the question mark on your keyboard, it will pull up the search for your menu. And if you type site availability, if you can spell, you will be able to hop right into that part of the menu. And all you have to do is click password protected and set a site password here. This will apply to the entire website, no matter what page they click on. They will have to enter that password to get inside. So those are the two main options for lock screen versions of a cover page. If you want to design your own cover page, you can simply create a new page. So after you get a design that works for you, you would click on the gear wheel to get to the settings of that page. Go to your advanced tab in the page settings, go to your page header injection, and paste in the code that I will put in the accompanying blog post for this video, which will hide both the header and the footer on this page only, which basically means when they come to your homepage, they're not going to be able to see anything else because there's no navigation to take them anywhere else. They would have to guess the URL to get there. When you're done, click save, and all of a sudden the page will refresh and you'll notice the header is no longer visible and neither is the footer. So you have a full screen page. You can put whatever you want to in this section. And let's move that text up here. We could add a newsletter block. I would import one from ConvertKit because that's what I use. There we go. And we more or less have a page that will show 100% of view height, basically taking up the whole page, and won't have anywhere for people to scroll. This is the only thing they can do here. I do assume that you will make it prettier than this one that I just made in like 3 minutes, but that's the general idea. So once you have it done, what you would actually do is go back into your page settings and click set as home page and confirm. This will actually make your cover page the home page so that when they come to this website and they don't have a URL slug after the .com, they will land here and not on your actual titled home page, which is this. So that's the quick way to throw up a cover page and keep people out of the rest of the site. Now, caveat, if they know the URL for your contact page, for example, they can still type that in and get there. So if you don't want people to be able to access these other pages, you will need to manually disable them all until you are ready to let them be accessible. So to do that, you would come into the general settings for each individual page, and then on this toggle, turn it off so that it's not green, and then save your change. And you'll notice that that page just went gray, which means it's not published anymore, even if the website as a whole is. Do that one by one for every page in your site, and then this will be the literal only option or until you are ready for people to come in. The second option would be to make a copy and edit the copy and then swap them out when you're done. So basically, for example, in the near-ish future, I will need to finally update my sales page for my services. And when I do that, I'll create a new one, a brand new one. And when that one is done and ready for me to swap, I will delete the original really quickly, replace it with the new one, and that's all I have to do. But if you want to copy something that's existing and just make tweaks to it that nobody else can see until you're done, then you can literally just duplicate the page, make the changes to the copy, and then because two pages can't share the same URL while it's live, you will have to either remove the first one or change the URL and then give the copy, the original URL and swap them out, deleting the one that you no longer need. So it's a little bit of a tricky process. It's quick and I promise you no one will notice that you did it. The downside to this is that it doesn't work on some page collection types. For example, blog collections, to my knowledge, you cannot duplicate. Courses you can't duplicate, to my knowledge, on Squarespace. So there are some collection page types which won't allow you to do this. Footer sections, for example, can't bring in saved sections. So there's a little bit of a limitation there. To duplicate a page and edit the copy, especially if you're going to do something like that in your navigation, your main page navigation, just make sure that when you make that copy, quickly drag it out of the main navigation. Otherwise, other people can access it. So if you click on that gear wheel and you go into your page settings under the General tab at the very bottom, you're going to have the option to duplicate page. If you click that and then confirm, it will make a dead ass copy of whatever page that is. It'll put it in your not linked section. Just double check to make sure that's where it goes, just in case. So just double check, name it something different, just for the time being. Edit the copy. And then when you're done, let's say that this is how I want it to be. Notice that if I go back into the settings, this is now about -1. Whereas this one, that is the live about page, this one is just about. So if you want to be able to swap them out, they can't both have the same URL. That will never happen on a website. So I would just do about old, just give it something new, pull it down here. Then on the new one, we would just remove the -1 and the new in the title, and then click save. And now we drag it back up here. And then you can just double check. About old is the one in your not linked section. So you can delete that copy. There we go. It's just that simple. So that's how you duplicate a page. And please remember that on collection pages, you're not going to have the duplicate option. There is a workaround for that though. If you create a brand new blog collection, you can actually, let's just pick this one for the time being, and we're going to keep it blog 2. If from the main blog page I had edited this other version and I wanted to move my posts from this old version to the new one, I can actually select all of the posts in this collection and move them to the other blog post. All I have to do is click move and they will disappear from this page collection and reappear in the blog 2 collection. So that's actually a really simple process. The only problem with it is that it does not allow you to copy these pages, but now with saved sections, you can do that too. So if for some reason you wanted to save part of this page, but you couldn't just make a copy of this page because it won't let you, just add the sections to your saved and you can apply them in the other copy. Of course, that's just the page, but if you're making sweeping changes to the entire site, you can actually duplicate the entire website and edit the draft duplicate of the site and then switch those out when you're done. That's trickier, but it's not hard. It just takes the right steps. Basically, what you want to do is when the draft copy or the updated copy of the website is ready to go live, you would move the subscription from your live site to the draft site so it goes live, and then the domain immediately after that. That's a really easy thing to do. You actually don't move the subscription from the live site to the draft site. What you actually do is start a new subscription on the draft site and cancel the subscription on the old one. And yes, despite what their refund policy says, if you reach out to Squarespace and say that you're just moving, they will issue a prorated refund for whatever subscription term you have left. So that's not just you canceling and walking away. They realize you're staying on the platform and they're happy to help accommodate you. So if you cancel your current subscription and you have 6 months left, don't worry, you can get that back. Just make sure you reach out to them through the live chat support and tell them what you're doing and then ask for that prorated refund. So if you have moved your subscription, you have started a new one, canceled the old one, you've moved the domain, the new one goes live, you just let the other one expire. You've canceled the plan, it will cancel itself. You don't need that content anymore. You've got the new one and it's live, and nobody knew the difference until suddenly it was all different, right? Now, if you want to duplicate the website as a whole, we would go back into my Squarespace account. We would look for that website right here. And that's as simple as clicking the 3-dot icon, selecting duplicate website, and it will create an exact copy of the website in your account. Then you can edit the copy. So let's just go ahead and do that. We'll will duplicate that website. You'll have to give it a minute because this does take a while, especially if there are a lot of pages or images and content for it to duplicate. But you also do get this kind of step-by-step progress bar up here. So we'll just wait on that. Okay, it looks like it's done. So I'm going to refresh my page and I'm going to search. There we go. See, now we have San Francisco copy. So I'm going to click on that version. And it's easiest actually if you have both websites open, one in a new tab. Okay. So if this is the copy, then we'll go back into my account and I will right click on this one, open link in new tab, and I'll open the original back in this tab. So I actually have two tabs open, one here and one for this one. All I have to do is click here to subscribe, pick a plan. I suggest business for literally any website that is going to operate as a business because the personal plan is more limited. So once you choose your plan and actually subscribe, then you can go back to the original website. And again, because things have moved around, it's easier now to press the question mark key on your keyboard and type in domains and go straight to the domains in your settings. If you have a domain in here, there will be an option to move a domain I own or use a domain I own. So for example, I have a few domains in my account. If I were to move one of them to a different website, for example, this Studio 1862, my old brand, if I wanted to move that domain to a different website, I just click on it to open up that brand information. And there's a button over here on the right that says Move Domain. If I click that, it will pull up my Squarespace account and the list of websites that I can move it to. This will show all of the websites that are in my Squarespace account using the same email address. So I can pick the website I want to move this domain to, and it's literally as simple as clicking the option here in this list, and then it will probably ask me to confirm. I'm not going to go any further because I do not actually want to move my domain. But if I did, I would click on the website and confirm and then save my change, and all that would already be over there. It's just that easy. Once you've moved your domain and the subscription and you've gone back to the old one to cancel the old subscription so that you're not actually paying for two websites, because that would be shitty, then you're basically good to go. The domain is there. It's moved from the other site. The subscription is live. And all you need to do is go back into your settings, look for site availability, click on that, and then change it to public. So if you're not on a paid plan, it won't let you do that. That's how you know that that's one step that you missed. So just click on public or click upgrade to publish and you're good to go. Now you've switched everything over to the new site and nobody was the wiser until it was all ready and available for the general public. Those are the two most common methods of making changes to a live website: making a copy of it and editing the copy, then swapping them out, or doing a cover page to blanket the site in a protective bubble while you edit the back end, and then remove the protective cover whenever you're done. The third way, and the least common way probably, or the way that I use on my own website, is to just make the changes live. Nobody gives a shit as much as we do, I promise. And I know you're saying, but what if I choose something and I hate it? It looks ugly. What if it affects the rest of my site? I get it. I struggle with the same thing. But that's more of a fear of like, I just genuinely don't want it to look ugly. For the past year and a half, the top hero section of my own homepage has been absolutely hideous. I hated it. I had very little time to tweak it. I mean, it was what it was. It was always kind of in some weird middle ground between what it had been, which I kind of forgot, and what it could be, which I didn't have time to create. So it sat there like that for a year. I still got clients. It might not have been the most attractive hero section for a homepage, but it didn't affect me negatively. So when I could, I got around to editing it live, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't make a copy of my homepage and edit the copy and swap them out. I didn't throw up a cover page. I just edited the damn thing. I made some changes, made them live, and I'm sure almost no one noticed me doing that, like at the moment that I was working on it. It's just not that common for people to be on the page while you are currently editing it and they're constantly refreshing the page, right? That they're catching all of these like weird twitches. Because basically what happens is when we push the changes to the public version, the person on the other side of the screen has to refresh their page in order to see what we did. And sometimes, a fair bit of the time, they're also going to have to refresh their cookies and their cache in their browser. Otherwise, they may not pick up the change that quickly. So there's not really a reason to be genuinely afraid of screwing it up, essentially, because you can always go back and make changes. Nobody's going to notice, especially if you're a newer business, your traffic isn't going to be as high. I mean, I have a lot of traffic and I'm not worried about it anymore. I understand the inclination though, because I was at one time. Then I finally realized nobody gives as much of a shit as I do. So that's my 2 cents on the fear involved in editing live sites. Now, if you're doing this for a client, I get it. That's probably not the best situation. So I hope that helped you just get a little bit more comfortable with making those changes that you know you need to make on your website without having to be so afraid of what happens if you screw it up in the process, because there are ways to protect people from seeing our screw ups. In the meantime, if you are needing to dive a little deeper into imposter syndrome and maybe how you're feeling like you are not good enough to be doing these types of things, don't worry, we've all been there, I myself included. And if that's you, you need to watch this video next where I talk about imposter syndrome specifically and what I think we should call it instead, why we should stop calling it imposter syndrome. That's all I have for this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye!